Hey guys, how are you doing today? I hope everybody is having a wonderful Friday. And today I picked today's tarot tap of the day. Not one of my favorite cards, I'll be honest with you. Today, the Ten of Swords. Yeah. Today's energy is the Ten of Swords. And this is not a soft card. I mean, just look at it. This is not some tiny misunderstanding. It's not just a little miscommunication. And it's not somebody that just accidentally hurt your feelings. It's not. This is... I need to meditate a little more because this is intense. It really is intense. This is not somebody accidentally hurting your feelings and then backing up with a nervous little apology and a face like they just stepped on a kitten. No, this card is overkill. I mean, look at it. This is what it feels like when something has gone way too far. When the damage is excessive. When the energy feels brutal, final, dramatic as hell, and impossible to ignore. This is not a paper cut. This is not my bad. This is full-blown spiritual crime scene. And yes, I hate to tell you this, but sometimes when this card comes out, it can absolutely be a warning. Because the Ten of Swords, it can show up when betrayal is already in motion, already being done to you. It's already happened. It's already brewing beneath the surface. I mean, look at him. He ain't still getting them swords. He's already got them swords, right? So this is that it's already brewing beneath the surface, and the truth just maybe it hasn't come to light yet. Just think about these little wounds in the swords. If the swords haven't come out, most people know not to pull something out because then it'll start bleeding, right? Because it gets pulled out. So it's the same thing. It's that feeling of maybe you just it hasn't come out, it hasn't seen the light, and that is one of the most scariest things about this card coming up is you're like bracing yourself, like what the heck. So yeah, it can be a warning. This is why the card gives that eerie feeling, that gut feeling that something is off feeling. When you get that feeling, don't dismiss it as anxiety, okay? Don't. I know a lot of us want to say, oh, I'm just being anxious. No, you're not. Listen to your gut. Listen to that inner feeling. That why do I feel weird around this energy? That every time they talk, the spirit squints. That kind of energy. It can absolutely say, you need to pay attention, because you do. If you're listening to this message, you need to pay attention. Somebody may have already crossed a line. The mask may already be slipping, and the truth, it may be leaking. Maybe it doesn't come full blown out, but it's leaking. And somehow Some people smile real big while their energy outside is committing felonies. Yeah, that. Sometimes the betrayal, it's not coming. Sometimes it's already clocked in. That's what this card's about. And that's what makes this card so cold. That's why I don't like this card. It's not just pain. It's pain with awareness behind it. It's pain with excess behind it. It's pain with that haunting question attached to it. Why did someone keep going once the first wound? Wasn't it already enough? I mean, why do we keep willing to take more? Like, one sword should have covered the message. Why are we at 10? Why is this person acting like pain is a buy one, get one free event? Why do we do that to ourselves? That's what makes this card so dark. It's too much on purpose, or too much because somebody is so wrapped up in themselves that they don't care that it's too much. Because, all right, let's bring in the psychology of it. See, I don't know, I guess I don't want to just know what happened. I don't. I want to know why. I want to know the motive. Because I don't want it to become a cycle, right? I want to know the wound beneath the wound. Why were we willing to take more? Where did that come from? I want to know the psychology of the person holding the sword. And I want to know the psychology of the person who keeps standing there just hoping and wishing that they would put it down. Because that's human nature right there, or at least mine. One person is out here acting unhealed and unhinged, and the other person is over there trying to turn betrayal into a research project. Baby, put the freaking clipboard down, seriously. Sometimes the answer, it really is just ugly. And that's what makes this card, the Ten of Swords, so deep to me. This is not just betrayal. This is empathy failure. This is what happens when somebody becomes so disconnected from accountability, empathy, or emotional honesty that they can justify the damage they cause. They can wound, they can twist, they can pile. They can pile it on and on and on. And then still somehow make themselves a victim in the story. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that? That is a defense mechanism energy. It is right there. It's ego protection. That is blame shifting, and that's emotional immaturity dressed up in grown people's clothes with a nice little speech and maybe even a little sad face for decoration. Boo-hoo-hoo. That is, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. No. No, ma'am. No, sir. No. demon in cardigan. We are not doing that. Healthy people do not overkill. And healed people do not need to destroy somebody to make a point. And emotionally honest people, they don't stab, twist, then act confused about why there is blood all over the floor. And woof, that part, that matters to me, seriously. Because I know I can be intense. I am. And I can be loud. And I am very passionate. A lot. Too much for some people. And too all the way there. Too emotional. I'm too direct. I know I can walk into a room with all my feelings, acting like, hey, they paid rent here. But there's a difference between being intense and being intentionally cruel. There's a difference between having a big personality and having a dead conscience. And there's a difference between making mistakes because you are human and causing damage because you simply don't give a shit enough to stop. And there's a difference between being extra and being evil. Okay? Some of us are just sparkly with opinions. That is not the same thing as spiritual homicide. So, this Ten of Swords energy, this is not just somebody being messy. This is somebody being careless with a soul. Somebody choosing their comfort over your peace. Their ego over your trust. And their image over your nervous system. Their selfishness over your healing. And their appetite over your sanity. Their need to be right over your right to not be emotionally filleted. And to me, that really is the psychology of this card. Not just the pain, but pain caused by someone who has disconnected from the impact of their own freaking behavior. Somebody who wants relief from their own discomfort and does not care if they set your whole inner world on fire to get it. That's dark, and that is really ugly. That's not just being flawed. That is being spiritually irresponsible. Let's go a little bit deeper, because this card, it's not only about the betrayer, it's also about the betrayed. There it is. Because why do we stay in situations where the swords have already started dropping on us or coming into our backs? Why? Why do we ignore what our body already knows? I did it for years. There's something called hope, right? Why do we keep translating disrespect into confusion? And why do we keep trying to understand people who are committed to misunderstanding us? And why do we keep making excuses for what already feels like spiritual overkill? Why? Why do we keep calling it a chapter when it's actually a hostage situation for our nervous system? And why do we keep saying maybe when the red flags out here are doing jumping jacks in broad daylight? That is trauma. That is hope misused. I'm guilty of that one. That's attachment. That is the nervous system that got trained to wait for relief instead of demand peace. And that is mistaking something that is just familiar with love. That is somebody being so used to chaos that the red flags, they start looking like normal weather. And that's somebody decorating their cage and calling it commitment. That's somebody holding onto a knife and saying, maybe this time it will be different. Baby, please. The knife, that has not changed its nature. It's gonna cut you. And that's why this card, it's not just dramatic. It's psychological. It's the moment where the psyche can no longer keep pretending. The heart, that may still be bargaining. The heart may still be bargaining. And the mind, that might still be explaining. And the ego, that ego, it may still be trying to make them nicer than they are. Make everybody nicer than they are. But the soul, oh, that soul already knows. You know when something has gone too far. And the body tells the truth before the mouth does. Man, that body will start clenching. That body will start clenching. Squinting. Spiraling. Going tired. Feeling off. Maybe just getting quiet. Because somewhere deep down, it knows it's not safe. This is not clean. This is not love. And that's the thing about the Ten of Swords. It is ugly, yes, but it is so revealing. You cannot pretty this card up. You cannot put glitter on betrayal and call it divine timing. And you cannot put a lip gloss on dysfunction and call it soul work. You cannot keep romanticizing what is tearing you apart and then act shocked when your spirit starts filing complaints. You cannot keep telling yourself, maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe it's not that bad. When your entire spirit is laying there, pinned under the weight of the truth. At some point, the truth stops knocking politely and just comes in like the freaking auntie who does not need permission because she pays emotional taxes here. because this is a 10, let's talk about the numerology of the 10. 10 is a completion. 10 is the end. It's the end of the cycle. It's the end. You cannot go past this. The only thing you're going to get now is a new beginning. 10 says the pattern has reached its full form. There's nothing left to misunderstand here. There's nothing left to squeeze out of this lesson. The story has gone as far as it can go. The damage has become undeniable for a reason. The discomfort has become unbearable for a reason. This is not random. This is the universe saying, all right now, class is over. Pencils down. Everybody go home. We are done pretending this still has life in it. We're done. 10 is the universe saying, we are done here. And that is why the card hurts so much, because it is not just the wound, it is the finality, it is the realization, it is the moment where your spirit says, I cannot lie to myself about this anymore. And sometimes that is the part people fight the hardest. Not because they don't know, but because once they admit what they know, then a decision is sitting right there on the table looking at them. And let's talk about the symbolism with the swords. Swords are the suit of the mind, the thoughts, the truth, communication, perception, mental conflict, harsh words, pain realizations. The stories we tell ourselves, the things we know but don't want to know, the truth that we keep shoving in a drawer because it does not match the fantasy we spent 6 months crocheting in our heads. I got a little whippersnapper that woke up. So I guess just what I wanted to finish off saying is that when we get the 10 with swords, that is not only emotional pain, okay? It is mental anguish. Yeah. It's devastation of realization. It's the moment when all the lies can no longer be holding their shape in your mind, and they finally have to sit down with what your spirit has been screaming in the background. I mean, swords cut. Swords reveal. Swords separate what is real from what is fantasy. They do. And the Ten of Swords is that truth is no longer whispering. It's now laid out in full. Brutal, exposed, unignorable. Like the universe took your delusion gently by the chin and said, sweetheart, open your eyes. So this can actually be the end of gaslighting, the end of self-deception, even the end of minimizing, the end of saying, maybe this is just me. The end of carrying confusion for somebody who has been handing you evidence the whole time. The end of you auditioning for the role of the unpaid detective in a case that your spirit already solved 3 episodes ago. Yeah. And yes, because swords live in the mental realm, this card can also point to overthinking, spiraling off by sheet. I'm talking baby talks. I'm talking baby talk to you. So yeah, this card here It can also, excuse me, I'm making some formulas. So it can also point to overthinking, spiraling, dark thoughts, or feeling mentally defeated. It can be that place where the mind just completely feels battered, where too much has happened already. Too much has been processed. Too much has been carried. So for some people, this card is not just about betrayal from the outside. It's also about what it feels like when life, truth, grief, or disappointment have brought you to a mental freaking breaking point. When your mind feels tired, your spirit feels bruised, and you are just one inconvenience away from looking at the ceiling like, Lord, be specific. What now? But even then, there's medicine here. Because once the truth is exposed, confusion, it starts to die. And confusion, man, that is actually one of the cruelest prisons there is. It really is. The Ten of Swords, it may hurt, but it clears the fog. It says, there it is. There's the truth. There's the wound. There's the ending. There's the thing that you have been trying not to name. And once you name it, once you see it, once you stop dressing it up in softer language, then healing can finally begin. But because healing, it cannot really start while denial is still out there redecorating the room. Because rock bottom, it's ugly. But rock bottom is honest. And from honest, we rebuild. From honest, we rise. And from honest, we stop bleeding for people who keep calling it love. From honest, we stop confusing emotional vandalism with chemistry. From honest, we stop trying to save people who keep handing us the knife and asking us, hold still while I stick this in. What the fuck? So today, with this card, I want to ask you, where is something not adding up? Where has my gut been speaking louder than the excuses? And who around me is moving with care? And who is moving with carelessness? Where have I been minimizing something that already feels like overkill? Where have I betrayed myself by refusing to accept what my spirit already knows? Where am I exhausted? Not because I'm confused, but because I actually know and don't want to deal with what comes next. Man, this Ten of Swords, it's not just here to scare you. It's here to wake you up. It's here to end a lie. And it's here to reveal something that has gone way too far. It's here to show you what selfishness, ego, indifference, or disconnection from empathy really looks like when left unchecked. It's here to say the party's over. The mask is crooked. The vibes are weird. And Spirit would like a word. And I always want to say this with a card like this. God, ancestors, our spirit team, please never let me become the kind of person who keeps going once I know I have hurt somebody. Please never let my ego get so loud that I stop caring what my actions do to the people I love. And please keep me honest. Keep me tender. And keep me accountable. And keep me far away from the kind of coldness that would let another person bleed while I protect my own image. Please do not let me become so wounded that I start worshiping my own excuses. Please do not let me get so lost in being right that I forget to be loving. Please keep my spirit soft enough to care and strong enough to own it when I miss the mark. Because that is the real darkness of the Ten of Swords. Not just the pain, but the psychology behind the pain that no longer feels another person's humanity. And that right there is why this card matters so much. It warns, it reveals, it ends, it exposes, and sometimes, painfully, it frees. This is the card that says enough is enough. The card that says the pattern has shown itself. The card that says it feels like if it's too much, it probably is. The card that says the truth may hurt, but confusion has been eating you alive anyway. So yeah, this card is heavy. It's dramatic. It can feel like an emotional equivalent of your body getting slammed by reality. Hi, papas. But baby, reality may be rude, but it is holy.